Hey skiers, it's Bob with SkiEssentials.com. Welcome to our 2026 ski test. We've got a K2 Mindbender 90CW for you today. This ski has kind of cemented its spot as kind of an unsung hero within the Mindbender lineup. I think a lot of skiers overlook this ski because of kind of an intermediate connotation, but K2 does a nice job at putting a lot of technology into a more intermediate level ski to give it a more upscale feel. So we've had advanced, expert, pro skiers. I have a friend who ski patrols on this ski and loves it. And they all feel like it punches above that stated level. So there is a higher performance application to this ski than indicated, while remaining really easy and fun to use. A lot of that has to do with what they do with construction and how they kind of blend that with the shape and profile of the ski. This does return structurally unchanged for this year. We do get a new graphic for 2026, but same Mindbender C construction. So what that means is we're starting out with an aspen wood core and adding their carbon spectral braid to the mix. So what they're doing with the carbon spectral braid is they're making a tighter weave in the forebody of the ski, and that's making it a little bit more torsionally stiff, more eager to enter the turn. And then that weave lengthens as it gets progressively through the tail. So you're getting more longitudinal stiffness through the tail, but it's less torsionally stiff, so you can exit the turn really easily. Very interesting way of putting a carbon application in a so-called intermediate ski. Certainly has kind of that higher end feel to it, and it really does work. Putting those light stringers of carbon adds a lot of responsiveness without adding a lot of weight. So you end up getting a lightweight, easy to maneuver ski that works really well in a variety of conditions and terrain. At 90 millimeters underfoot, you're certainly smack in the middle of that all mountain range. So whether you find yourself on groomers, bumps, trees, some light powder, this 90C is going to do a great job at keeping up with all of it. I do think it's one of the better and more fun mogul skis because of that carbon spectral braid. It does allow for a little bit better of a flex in the shovel and then a little bit more support through the tail when you're pushing down on the backside of a mogul. It isn't that stiff. It is pretty approachable and also pretty lightweight. So this is the 166, and we're on the scale at 1,600 grams, pretty much on the nose. So that carbon combined with that lighter weight does make it pretty agile and really easy to turn. When we get to the shape, pretty short turn radius here too. 13 meter turn radius here in the 166. So has kind of a slalom-like mentality when you're in a carved turn, but the flex of the ski allows it to break free from that radius, and you can make shorter skidded turns with a lot of ease. It's very easy to break free from that turn shape, but also that carbon does a great job at adding enough torsional stiffness that if you want to get the ski up on a higher edge angle, it's pretty happy to do that as well. Not a ton of camber underfoot. I think that the flatter overall profile does make this thing a little bit smoother and softer snow. And then once again, easy to maneuver in anything that's tricky. Decent tip rocker. It's not too long, not too short. Lines up with kind of where the ski's sidewall construction moves into more of a cap. And then not a lot of taper here. Just the widest part is brought down just a little bit into the ski, and that's going to shorten that effective edge and increase that mobility, as well as give the tip a little bit more of a spoony shape for better flotation. Not that this is one of the best floaters out there, but for a 90 millimeter underfoot ski, it does really, really well. And then kind of more tail rocker than you may think, especially for an all mountain ski. By no means would I go to call this a twin tip, but there is enough of a turned up tail to allow you to be a little bit more playful and creative with your turns, whether you're forward or experimenting with some backward skiing. And then same thing with taper, light taper. I wouldn't even call it moderate, and that's just allowing the ski to be easier to steer in deeper snow. So nice blend of construction, shape, and profile in this. Really going for a lot of middle ground here, and I think that that's reflected in the intended audience and skier type of this Mindbender 90 CW. I think that you can be an experienced skier and still find a lot to like about this, especially in tighter spaces, more technical terrain like bumps and trees, anything off-piste. I think it handles reasonably well. And then for a progressing skier, whether you're moving into the intermediate range or kind of moving within that range, it's really easy to carve and helps as a progression tool for making shorter and medium radius carved turns, while also opening more of the mountain to exploration. But, it's not too heavy, not too stiff, so you're not going to be able to, push it super aggressively, but at the same time, it does live in that mid-range really comfortably. So definitely make sure if you're in that range, you check out this K2 Mindbender 90 CW here at SkiEssentials.com, and we will see you out there on the hill. Bye.